Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and the new Avengers, issue number 3. I I want this to be growing on me. Maybe it's creeping, all right, like moss, all right, but uh, there's some issues with the book, as far as I'm concerned, at least. Being an old school Marvel fan. That said, the story's at least going someplace. They're doing something with it. I'm not always sure what they're doing, but they're doing something. Anyway, let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll go on from there real quick. The writer is Sam Humphries. The artist is Ton Lima. Rain Barreto on colors and VC's Joe Sabino on letters. Cover art by Steven Segovia and Rain Barreto. Couple of variant covers out there. None by Ton Lima, go figure. And Avengers were created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So they visit Banner in the Hulkverse, the Bannerverse, whatever the heck it's called. Anyway, they're trying to recruit him onto the team. Hey, we're gonna get you out of here, and you're gonna come with us. Does anybody remember old school comics when they would separate Banner from Hulk? You thought Hulk was rampaging now? You're talking about an unstoppable juggernaut that makes Kane Marco look like a Tinker Toy wind-up monkey smacking cymbals together. So Banner is incapable of leaving. He does give them some advice, though, how to find the Reed Richards one, who is probably the most dangerous one, although we're seeing something quite different right now. I like some of the stuff that happens in this comic book. I love the idea that Laura Kinney is a really egotistical chick who thinks that she's going to take out anyone and everyone. Wow, what an absolute numbnuts. Talk about being completely, I don't know, oblivious to the world around you. If that's her character, I'm not entirely upset by that. She did show a crazy face. She looked kind of like the Joker before. Is that going to turn into something? Because if not, then it was just really bad art. And I can't complain about the art. I'm upset that Ton Lehman doesn't have his own cover in this. This is really good art for the most part. When they're not showing too much of the crazy freako weirdo Killuminati people, you can actually tell and respect how good the art is. They were able to pause the Hulk for a little while, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the idea of keeping him busy so that he can be distracted, so they can get into his mind, but them actually stopping the Hulk? No, come on, man. I've read too many comic books where I know you can't. And I'm talking even recent comic books. You should not be able to stop the Hulk, especially not with this team. Namor, at best, like I said, is a distraction. Clea, yeah, should definitely be in the background. And even then, it's the idea, if they're going to start teleporting things in, why didn't they teleport in a battery supply for the freaking thing? You know, the paralyzer, neuralizer, neuroinhibitor thing. Anyway, a whole bunch of holes in this. It is what it is. Like I said, I really love the art, though. I like that part about Laura Kinney. I will never like the idea that Laura Kinney can cut the Hulk. No, she should not be able to cut the Hulk. Her adamantium is not sharper than Wolverine's. That's ridiculous, you know? And she's not Wolverine. She's Wolverine Light. She's Wolverette. Like she's Laura Kinney, X-23. She is not freaking Wolverine. God, that annoys me so much. Not while Wolverine is still alive. She shouldn't be. But no, Wolverine was never able to cut the Hulk, except when he became like gray. But this version of the Hulk, the closest he's gotten to is in a What If comic book, where he was able to go after his throat, and he not only cut him up, but he killed him in that. Spoiler for a, you know, what, 40-year-old comic book. Anyway, yeah, all intents and purposes, I don't know. This had its merits. It's hard to argue that. It definitely has its merits. I like that Laura was able to figure out how to beat this Professor X character, the Professor Extinction. I dig that. I mean, she's not exactly the plan type of person. She's plan B at best, right? So literally when everything else has failed, okay, let's switch to this, right? Think about what plan B actually means. But it would make sense that she'd be the one to figure it out. Who else is that close to Professor X? Namor would be the closest, and he's not, right? I like that Namor is above the prattling and the, I'm better than you and blah 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 blah. I mean, he's literally the first. The first what? Name it, right? The first mutant, the first character, the first flying character, the first underwater breathing character, literally the first. So there's that. So I like that he's more mature in this than Laura because the way that Sam Humphries is writing, it seems like he would make him immature. I like that some of these things are actual real threats. They meet up with Eddie Brock as Carnage in this, as opposed to Venom, which is interesting. Whatever happened to Cletus Cassidy? Maybe I should be reading those comic books, but they were already at issue 7, I think, when I started reading comic books again. I didn't feel like going back and reading all that stuff. But you guys let me know if Carnage is any good with Eddie Brock, because I would jump on and hope that it can at least keep me up with what they're actually currently doing. And actually, issue 7 wouldn't have been too bad. It's only one story arc in. Anyway, altogether, this was a pretty fun comic book. It's hard to complain about some of the things in here. It was action-packed. It had some good dialogue. It had some witty banter. Like I said, it had some weird things, mostly with Laura, mind you, whose skeleton is not, I'm going to harp on this a little bit, just for a couple seconds more. She's only got the claws that are adamantium, not the housing, in the forearms. So if she were to hit something impregnable that she just can't cut or that's too hard for her, it would rip the claws right out of her. Know what I mean? So, no. Like, this doesn't make sense. Whatever. Yeah. What was I going to say? But yeah, but the weird Joker face was a bit much. The Bucky and Natalia stuff is, I think that's perfect. If anybody's going to not get along, like get along but not really get along, it should be these two. Constantly questioning each other, right? Bucky trained Natalia. Let's not forget that. I mean, that's a Brubaker thing. He taught her. He was one of the coaches how to actually do the things that you're supposed to do. And yeah, she was a prodigy and she's awesome and all that stuff. She shouldn't be better than Bucky though, not in a fight. Just that's just a weird thing to me. But I do like the idea that she knows what the heck she's doing. So there's that. And these two are gonna butt heads. They're more alike than they are disalike, but the things that they're unalike in, it's going to cause butting of some heads. It's so hard to argue with Sam Humphries' understanding of these characters. I think I may have mentioned this in the previous issue. It's important to understand the characters you're writing for. If you don't, you could have a good comic book or you could have a good story, whatever, but you're not going to have a good presentation, a good memorable run. It'll just be something where, I can use some ideas from this failed story arc. But he seems to really understand these characters. Yeah, it's hard to argue. Darn it, it's really hard to argue. The stuff he's doing with Clea also. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense that a spoiled, rotten, almost goddess demi-goddess, arguably, like, daughter of Umar, niece of Dormammu. Yeah, it makes sense that she would have this princess type attitude, right? Which we didn't really see in her comic, or at least the issues I had read, right? I want so bad to not like this comic book. So it says a lot that I still rather begrudgingly enjoy it. I'm not enduring it. I'm enduring not liking the comic book. It's so freaking odd that I want to be at odds with this, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, peeps, I'm going to suggest that you do, in fact, grab the comic book. So far, so good. If you want to wait till the trade paper comes back, I can't argue with that, at all. But the book is good. So far, the story is good. I do want to see how they stick the landing, if they stick it at all. But we'll see. Anyway, guys, so issue 6 will be an important one. 2 more issues before we get there. All right, guys, like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.